Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure, here we are with the remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning to all students. Hello, students, I welcome you all in today's online session. Today, we are going to continue our chapter number 4 from History textbook of Standard 6, and the topic is the Vedic civilization. So, before beginning today's session, let's see what we have covered in our first session. So we have already discussed about the Vedic literature in detail. So under Vedic literature, we learnt about Rigveda Samhita, Yajurveda Samhita, Samaveda Samhita, Atharva Veda Samhita, Brahmana text, Aranyakas and Upanishads. So today we will continue and learn about the lifestyle of Vedic people, their occupations. So let's begin with the family system and day-to-day life in the Vedic period. So students, just observe this picture. So what comes in your mind when you see this picture? Yes, absolutely. So this picture shows about or tells us about a joint family system. So from this we come to know that joint family system was prevalent in the Vedic period and the Grihapati was the head of the family. Griha means ghar, home. So the Grihapati was the head of the family, a man responsible for the family. His family include his old parents, wife and children, and also the families of the children, the younger brothers and their families. This family system was patriarchal. So patriarchal means students where the head of the family is a male. Okay? So male is the head of the family. So that is a patriarchal system. So in the beginning of this period, there were references of women scholars also. Though man was always there as a head or as an he had an important place in the society, but there were many famous women scholars such as Lopamudra, Gargi and Maitreyi, and there were many more. Their name you can see in this picture. But slowly and steadily the restrictions on women went on increasing, and with such restrictions their position in the family and society became secondary. It means more and more power was going into the hands of male members of the society. Next is the houses. So the houses during the Vedic period were earthen or wattle. So you can see in the picture, and they were also daub constructions. So students, wattle means woven lattice of wooden strips. See, dry wooden strips when they are woven together. So you can see here, and the walls were daubed with clay mixed with cow dung. Okay, the walls were painted with cow dung and a mixture of clay. A house was called griha or shala. The diet of the people mainly consisted of cereals like wheat, barley, and rice. So these were the three main items of their diet, and they made different preparations using these things. So words like Yava, Godhum, Vrihi, etc. can be found in the Vedic literature. So Yava here means barley, Godhum means wheat, and Vrihi means rice. So from in this way, from Vedic literature, we come to know about their diet also. So the Vedic people also relished, they also love or enjoyed milk, yogurt, ghee, butter, honey. I hope all of you also liked all these things. So black gram, that is also known as urad dal, lentils, masoor dal, sesame. Sesame, you must have heard about til, small white color grains. So sesame seeds and meat were also a part of their diet. So now we will move towards their clothing. So people in the Vedic period used cotton and woolen clothes. Okay, they also used vulcals. So what is this vulcal? So vulcals are the clothes made from barks of trees. You can see this cloth in the picture. It is made from bark of tree. Similarly, animal skins were also used as clothing. Next, men and women both used to wear ornaments. Okay, and these ornaments were made of gold. They also used to wear flower garland, strings made up of beads, etc. A very special kind of pendant was also very popular at that time, which is known as nishka, and it was also used as a currency in exchange of goods. Now we will see their source of entertainment or recreation. Recreation means enjoyment, okay, or entertainment. So singing, playing musical instruments, dance, board games, chariot race, and hunting were the main means of their recreation. So their main musical instruments were veena, shattantu, cymbals, and the conch. You can see conch, cymbals, and this is mridanga, damru. They were also used at that time. Now we will see the economic system, or we can say the agriculture, which is the main source of economy in today's time also. So agriculture was the main occupation during Vedic period. Many oxen were yoked together to plow the fields. The plow had iron plowshares. So in Atharva Veda, the Atharva Veda considers insect, pests, and other animals that destroy crops. So all these are mentioned there. And Atharva Veda also mentioned or suggest certain remedies or certain cures to get rid of all these insects and pests. Okay, and at that time cow dung was used as a manure rather than pesticides and chemical which are used nowadays by the farmers. It was not in use at that time, so the pure organic methods, that is cow dung, was used as manure. So during the Vedic period, animals like horses, cows, and dogs had special place. Okay, they had special importance. Cows were used as a mean of exchange. They were very precious. People used to take a lot of care of the cows, and they ensured that their cows would not be stolen. And horses had values because of their speed. Yes. So the Vedic people were very skilled, very trained in taming. You can see in controlling the horses and harnessing them to the chariots. So chariots in the Vedic period had spoked wheels. Spoked, you understand? You have seen spoked crisscross lines, which are lighter than solid wheels. It means wheels, the outer part of the wheel was heavier and the spokes were lighter in weight. The horse drawn and spoked wheels chariots of the Vedic period were swift and speedy. Okay, they were very speedy sources of communication or transportation, we can say. So, in this period, apart from agriculture and animal husbandry, there were many other occupations that also flourished. Okay, so many artisans and people practicing various occupations were an important part of the society, and they formed their independent organizations also. And these organizations were known as shrenis and guilds. Okay, so the head of the guild was known as Shreshti. However, slowly what happened that the status of the skilled artisans became secondary. So during this period, there were four varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So students, what happened that these varnas were determined by the occupation of the people in the beginning, but slowly and steadily in the later Vedic period, the varnas came to be determined on the basis of birth. Okay, in which family you have taken birth. So your varna was decided according to that. So this gave rise to caste system in society, and this caste system led to inequality in the societies, because Brahmana, they used to consider themselves the highest. Okay. And Brahmanas were the priests, basically. Kshatriyas were the warriors or the rulers, kings, the saviors. Vaishyas, under Vaishyas, we can see merchants, craftsmen, land owners, skilled workers. And Shudras consist of farm workers, unskilled workers, or servants. So this Varna system slowly and steadily created a caste system in Indian society, which is still somewhere in the interiors followed by people. Okay. So one more thing which was established at that time was ashrama system. So during Vedic period, certain notions here means beliefs or ideas people started following. What were those beliefs? Those were four ashramas or four stages from birth to death. So the first ashrama was the brahmacharya ashrama, okay, or the period of staying with the guru to learn from him. Okay, you must have heard about Gurukula system at that time. Students used to stay with their guru till the completion of their education. The next stage after the successful completion of Brahmacharya ashram was Grihastha ashram, which you can see here. Grihastha ashram. It was expected that during this period, means during Grihastha ashram period, a man would carry out his duties towards his family and society with the help of his wife. So the third stage was Vanaprastha, when a man was expected to detach himself from the household. Detach means he used to get retire from his household life, from his grahastha life, okay, and to live in a solitary place and lead a very simple life. And the fourth and the last ashrama was the sannyas ashrama. So at this stage, the tradition or the convention was to renounce all relations, okay, to get detached from all relations and lead a life in order to understand the meaning of human life, why you have taken birth, okay, and not to stay in one place. So these sannyasis, if you see nowadays also, they don't stay at one place, okay, they keeps on moving so that they don't get attached to the people of that people or the place they stay, okay. So that is sannyas ashram. So that's all for today, students. So today we covered about the family system or the day-to-day life or the diet of people, their occupation, agriculture, animal husbandry, economic and social life of the people, different varnas, and what happened because of this varna system, the caste system started prevailing, and a new notion or a new idea of this leading a ideal life, these four ashrama. Okay, so thank you so much. Hope you understood everything.